What's going on, Destiny fans? It's your boy Evangelist here, also known as Riverside, bringing you another episode of Destiny Speculation. This is going to be about grenades again. I didn't have enough time, and I also got into the thick of it about the first set of classes grenades, the Void Walker for the Warlock, the Striker for the Titan, and the Gunslinger for the Hunter class. Now, the subclasses have their own set of grenades, which is what I'm going to talk about. But first and foremost, I want to congratulate everyone. We did it. I mean, a lot of people were being skeptical about this game, especially during the alpha when they announced the alpha at E3. Also, when it was announced that the year before. And not too many people were like, we don't know, because people are afraid of new IPs. People are afraid to invest. But I'm happy to say that over 4.6 million people played in the beta. Over 4.6 million. And over 6 million Guardians were created. That means every person made at least 2 to 3 Guardians. Almost every player made 2 to 3 Guardians. You can find the article on IGN, you can find it on GameSpot, you can find it anywhere. But anyway, let's get into the thick of it. We're going to talk about the Blade Dancers grenades and how I feel about them and how they're possibly going to work, and if the description is self-explanatory or if there's going to be some insight that needs to be worked around and how they will probably work in PvE or PvP. Now, the first one I want to talk about is the Flux grenade. Now, this is unique for the Blade Dancer, considering that for the first 3 classes that I mentioned, Void Walker, Gunslinger, and Striker, their last grenade works similar to a Semtex. It's a sticky grenade. However, the Blade Dancer's first grenade, called the Flux grenade, is an explosive grenade which deals additional damage when attached to enemies, meaning that it's just works like a regular flag, but does bonus damage if it attaches to an opponent, and that's pretty cool. Now, the second one that they get is a stiff grenade, which kind of works like their secret grenades, but it seems like this one might be a little bit more powerful. Maybe not, but it seems that the Gunslingers class mostly does solar damage. Incendiary grenades, they're Claymore type of deal, and they're seeker drones. This one kind of does the same thing. It's a grenade which splits apart on impact, which is really cool, and then it creates multiple projectiles which seek out enemies. However, this does arc damage versus solar damage, and arc damage is a little bit more effective on the Fallen versus where incendiary damage, solar damage, is more effective on Hive. Now you're asking, how do I know that? It's like, well, that was just from trial and error while playing the beta. I noticed that when I was facing the Fallen captains, if you were a Titan who were the only class with access to arc damaging abilities, you'll notice that if you toss a flashbang or a pulse grenade at them, if they had their shield up, their barrier, whatever you want to call it, it took extra damage and almost completely destroyed the shield, versus other grenades which wouldn't quite do that. Now, the same thing for the Hive. If you toss the Hunter's Incendiary Grenade or the Seeker Drones, their shield would be almost completely destroyed, if not destroyed altogether, while doing some intense damage to their health. So, I haven't figured out which class is weakened to Void. Void, I would assume, would probably be the Cabal, because Void seems to affect organics a little more. But anyway, moving on. I don't feel that the skip grenade is going to work in PvP, especially since considering it's kind of the same effect as the Seeker drones from the Gunslinger class. It just does a different kind of elemental damage. So I'm going to say use it on choke points, use it to surprise opponents and help you win their gunfights, because that's less damage that you'll have to do. Opponents approaching, charging at you, toss the grenade down, let them take a few hits with the little Seeker drones, and then put them down with a couple bullets. That's my strategy for it, and that's how it's probably going to be used mainly. Last but not least is the Arc Bolt grenade, and this is a grenade that chains bolts of lightning to nearby enemies. Now, any person that's played an MMO of a mage class, especially a lightning mage or whatever, knows what chain lightning is. And that's what this grenade grenade essentially tells us that it does. Now this is similar to the Warlock's Voidwalker's last grenade, the Axion Bolt grenade, but that does void damage as where this does arc damage. So you can see how while the grenades are similar, them doing different damage, different types of damage, allows for different possibilities and moving and taking on different enemies. Now, the next one that I want to talk to you about is the Sunsinger's grenades. Now, these are pretty damn cool. So, we're going to talk about this a bit. The solar grenade is a grenade that creates a flare of solar light which continually damages enemies trapped inside. So, unlike the incendiary grenade, which the gunslinger possesses, which is just instant and then they just burn afterwards, this solar grenade is going to work similar to the vortex grenade, except that it's going to do a different kind of damage. Now, their next grenade is a little iffy. It's called the Firebolt grenade. It's a grenade that unleashes bolts of solar light at nearby enemies. Now, I don't know exactly how this is going to work. Is it going to auto target like proximity, or is it just based on who you throw it at? Is it like a homing grenade or something? That seems judging by that, it seems a little overpowered. But if it's just something where you throw and then you place it on the ground, and then if someone goes near it, it'll dash them out with fire. So I can see that you're being used to hold down choke points. Same thing with solar grenade. If solar grenade truly is just a different version of vortex, just with a different element, it's going to do just as well. Firebolt grenade seems a little bit different, but it's kind of reminiscent of a defender's grenade, which I'm going to talk about in a bit. And the Firebolt grenade, it's going to have its uses, but I think overall people are probably going to stick to the solar grenade. And last but not least, we're going to go to the Fusion Bolt, which is a grenade that causes bonus damage when attached to its target. Meaning that this is going to be their vehicle destroyer. This isn't something that you're going to need to use to kill people. This is something you're going to put on boss monsters, high level targets, vehicles in PvP. That's the kind of grenade that's kind of for. It's very single targeted and very efficient at destroying a single target, and that's what that seems like to me. So we're going to move on, and next we're going to talk about, where is this? We're going to get into the Defender's grenades, which is the subclass of the Titan, which, by the way, I didn't mention this before if you didn't know, all the subclasses are available at level 15. They get some pretty cool grenades. So one of them is actually pretty unique. Two of them are actually pretty unique, which I find very interesting. Now, at first they get the magnetic grenade. Now this doesn't seem like too crazy, but it's a grenade. It's called the magnetic grenade. It's a grenade that attaches to enemies, but then it explodes twice. Not once and just does bonus damage. It explodes twice, meaning that it's gonna have a chance to not only hurt the target that it sticks to, but anyone else that runs around thinking that, oh, it already exploded, I can run forward, and then boom, everyone's gonna blow up again. That seems pretty cool, especially if you're in a clutch situation. It's 3v1 or 2v1. You're like, oh shit, I'm gonna get outgunned here. And with the proper strategies and like proper alertness and awareness, I feel like if you use this grenade at the right time, it can change the tide for you in a very, very flashy fashion. Now the next one that we're going to talk about is the spike grenade. This is a grenade that attaches to any surface and emits a torrent of damaging void light. So when I picture this, I picture something you can throw on the ground and it emits a laser-like pillar. So like you can toss this on a wall and it'll toss a laser wall right across, and it seems like obviously it'll do damage for anyone who's dumb enough to stay within the light. That I can't see being too useful to get kills, but I can definitely see that being useful to someone who wants to hold down a location if you're trying to hold down a flag or something of the sort. Now, last but not least, this is probably going to be my favorite grenade for the Defender class. and I'm probably going to use this exclusively during PvP. And this is the suppressor grenade. This is very, very unique because I haven't seen any other class with this. What this class allows you to do, it's an explosive grenade, so right there is just its damage. You know, it's not like something like concussive that's not going to do any damage. It's an explosive damage that prevents enemies from using their abilities for a short time. Prepare to get trolled by this grenade, people. I mean, obviously you won't see it till later because by the time that the grenades progress and they have access to that tier, to that last tier of grenade, people are going to be pretty high level. But when someone finally gets it, prepare for the trolling because it's going to be real. Now, it all depends on how long this keeps you inactive. For someone like, for my skill level, at least what I consider myself, I would say 5 to 10 seconds would be enough. I think anything less than 5 would be a little cheap and useless. Because anyone can, you know, get hit by this and run away for 3 seconds. You know what I mean? You know, at least somewhere between 5 to 10 can give you time to track them down and finish off the kill while they can fight back with guns. They won't be relying too much on their skills, and you will. And you'll be able to take them out because you'll have your bonus melee, or you can. If this can lock supers, this is going to be an amazing grenade. Well, that's it for my episode 2 of grenades. Tune in tomorrow where we're going to talk about movement abilities and some of the other fun things that we're going to do, because that movement abilities isn't going to be too long. Everything for most of the classes is pretty much the same. A couple changes here or there. But guys, thank you so much for watching. Please like and favorite the video if you enjoyed the content, and don't forget to comment on the section below. I like having, you know, these are speculatory videos. I don't mind having conversations with you guys if you think something different or if you disagree with something that I said. You know, feel free to comment below. This is Evangelist, and I'm out. Peace.